Hey, this is American Lonsdale fan, and not too long ago I purchased the H&K CC9 9mm pistol, and it happened to be the first and ever micro 9mm double stack pistol that I had ever owned, and I wanted to give my take on it. So let me start by saying that when I'm not carrying a compact 1911 45 ACP, I'm almost always carrying a Smith & Wesson J-frame in 38 Special. So yes, I'm an old school guy, but those are the handguns that I'm comfortable with and that I know that I can shoot effectively and safely. Being part of the management team of a local gun store and shooting range allowed me the opportunity to try out all the new micro compact pistols as made by Sig Sauer, Springfield Armory, Smith & Wesson, and others. And while I thought they were okay, I shot them well, and I thought they were at least well made, none of them really appealed to me. Thus, I never bought any of them for myself, even at discount. But that changed when I saw the H&K CC9. The CC9 just appeared to be a better made handgun, and I was impressed by the overall build quality. I was also impressed by the marketing that suggested that their prototypes lasted 750,000 rounds without issue or without any breakage. Thus, I gave it a chance and I went ahead and purchased one. And overall, I was greatly impressed. It shot very well, very accurate, very reliable, and fed just about everything I fed it. I had very little issues with the gun itself, and I even carried it a couple times. Other online reviewers have had their criticisms about the pistol, and the reviews have overall been mixed. So before I get into my takes on the pistol, I just wanted to address some of the critiques that other people have had. One critique about the pistol is the lack of aggressive stippling on the gun itself, that there's no traction in the grip, and some have claimed that the pistol wants to shift inside their hand while shooting. I didn't consider this a factor at all, based on the fact that the slim design of the pistol allows the gun to perfectly seat in the web of my hand, and I could get a firm grip on the gun. Coupled that with a proper grip on the pistol, whether single-handed or two-handed, and I've just found that the gun sits in my hand very well. I'm able to aim it very easily, get a good sight picture, and never have it shift in my hand whatsoever. Another critique has been the overall appearance of the CC9. Most have compared it to looking like the Taurus pistol. Well, let me tell you that I've handled Taurus pistols and I've handled this one. While they may have a similar profile, they are not built the same and they definitely don't feel the same. So that's a moot point. Besides, it's a workhorse. It's not meant to look good. Longtime H&K fans have complained that the CC9 doesn't have the paddle-style magazine releases. Well, keep in mind that this gun was actually designed for American shooters and actually made in the USA. And most American shooters are used to the push-button style. And I have to say that I'm pretty impressed with the mag release. For starters, it's very positive. It ejects the mag cleanly and completely. And on top of it all, the button stays out of my reach when I'm shooting, yet I can still reach the magazine release without issue and without having to shift the pistol in my hand. The pistol ships with both a flush fit 10-round magazine as well as an extended 12-round. I really like the 12-round because it allows for a full pinky purchase. Someone complained that the magazines are very tight and it was hard to get that last 12th round into the magazine, but I had no issue doing that, so I don't know what the complaint was. Okay, after praising this pistol thus far, is there anything that I don't like about the H&K CC9? Well, yeah, actually there is. but it's completely personal and it shouldn't be a deal breaker for you. It's just something that I'm used to, and that's something that the CC9 does not offer me. And that is a degree of extra safety. Not necessarily mechanically, but just when you add in the human factor. So let's go over the various safeties that the H&K CC9 offers. The first is, of course, the standard trigger safety, which essentially means you need to have a full purchase on the front of the trigger in order to even make any rearward action. The other is, of course, a standard striker block safety used in a typical cylindrical steel piece with a coil spring that completely blocks the striker from any forward movement. It also has what's called a takedown safety, which means that you can completely disassemble or field strip the gun, but the magazine must be out, but the trigger does not have to be pulled. It also has an out of battery safety, which means that while the gun is completely in battery, any slight rear movement of the slide and the trigger will not function and will not release the sear. So this makes an overall safe mechanical pistol. However, there's a couple things to keep in mind. For a striker-fired pistol, this is not like the Glock style, where the striker is in a state of rest. The striker on this pistol, like many others, is at full cock. It's ready to go. Yes, it's being blocked by a striker block, but the only thing stopping it from releasing the sear and releasing the striker is the trigger pull. And the trigger pull is very short and still relatively light. There's no manual safety, and there's nothing heavy about the trigger itself. This makes me personally very leery of carrying this pistol in any other fashion other than in a Kydex holster that was specifically designed for the CC9. I've found that the DeSantis Slim Tuck holster that's actually designed for the H&K pistol is probably the best because it completely keeps the gun snug, tight, secure, and of course completely covers the trigger guard. Something I would never do with this pistol is do the option of pocket carry, particularly even with a soft style pocket holster. The reason being is I've just found that the pistol shifts too much for my taste, and that could lead to an inadvertent pull of the trigger. The trigger is nice at the range, there's no doubt, and like I said, it's very accurate, but this is not just a range toy, it's supposed to be something that protects your life. And with such a light trigger, it does make me a little leery, especially knowing that I could potentially, although I would never want to, I could potentially use this gun in a very stressful situation. There is absolutely no denying that the CC9 made by H&K is an absolutely amazing pistol, and it'll serve anybody very well for any defensive purposes. But for me, maybe I'm just a little too old school. Give me a good quality revolver or 1911 any day. But I'm not upset with my purchase, and I have no buyer's remorse. And on occasion, I will carry the H&K CC9. Well, that's all I got for today. God bless you and those you love.